Hey folks, Jim and Leela here for Geeking Out episode 180.
Yeah!
That's right, we're 20 weeks away from the big 200.
Oh, yes.
Boy, we gotta...
Do we have to... How can we top episode 100?
I know. Well, we got a lot of other celebs we can talk to, but we got a lot of planning to do on what to do. So if you have an idea for episode 200, give it to us. We'd love to hear it.
All good ideas will be stolen.
Yes. Because we're in the comic industry. It's all about stealing other people's ideas here.
No, we call it a tribute.
Yeah, we would call it a tribute or a parody.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's start off with our news today, and we're going to start off with some sad news. The artist Al Rio has passed on. We're not going to go into the details of what happened to him, but needless to say, it's a real big loss in the industry when someone who's known for his work on Gen 13, Deviate, a bunch of Marvel and DC projects, and of course the Grimm Fairy Tales covers,
yes, which are gorgeous,
is lost. And quite frankly, we want to send out condolences to his family, very heartfelt condolences to his family and all of his fans. He will be missed, and please go feel free to look up Al Rio and just marvel at his art, because it's the best legacy anyone can have.
That's right.
Alright, so let's get into the other big news this week.
Yeah, big
news.
The
Watchmen prequels.
Yes! They're coming.
Yeah, and Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, nor do they really care to, which is fine, you know.
Which is fine.
It is what it is.
Yeah, but basically what's going on here is 7 new miniseries and an epilogue are going to be released in probably around summer, and they're going to be weekly. And
this covers material prior to the film.
Yeah,
it's all
so
about
it's basically
stuff before that.
It's a prequel to the comic and the film, so... we're going to tell you a bit about each one.
Because some look really good.
I mean, there's some great creative teams on this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they're serious about it.
Oh, they're very serious about it, but did anyone really ask for this? I know I didn't, and I think, as Dave Gibbons and Alan Moore said, they told their story.
Yeah, well, they did. So now somebody can go and tell a different story with the same characters and maybe...
And let's hope it's good.
Let's hope it's good.
Anyway, let's go into the 7 titles that we're getting.
Yeah.
First up, Rorschach, written by Brian Azzarello with art by Lee Bermejo, which is a 4-issue series.
How cool is that going to be?
Yeah.
Like, that just sounds amazing. Right.
We got The Minutemen, which is a 6-issue series by written and drawn by Darwin Cook. Dear Lord, that will be gorgeous to look at. Yeah,
good. And they always like reference like that missing Minutemen comic or whatever. So this is cool that we'll actually see it.
Yep. We got The Comedian, written by Brian Azzarello and art by J.G. Jones.
Hello.
Yeah,
that's gonna be pretty awesome.
Really great creative team. Dr. Manhattan, which is a 4-issue series written by J. Michael Straczynski with art by Adam Hughes.
Again, you know, very talented guys.
Oh yeah. We got Night Owl, which is another 4-issue series written by Straczynski with art by Andy and Joe Kubert.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I like that character. I like Night Owl. So like Batman.
Oh, you mean Batman Light.
Yeah, Batman Light.
We got Ozymandias, which is a 6-issue series written by Len Wein with art by Jay Lee.
Yeah.
Now...
That might be one of the lesser...
Yeah, I mean, not too many people like Jay Lee, but when he does a really interesting style, it'll be interesting to look at least.
Well, that character's just not, I don't know, super interesting. To me anyway, but we'll see what they can make of it.
Yeah, and last but not least, we have Silk Spectre, which is a 4-issue series written by Darwin Cook with art by Amanda Connor.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
And that one I'm actually looking forward to, because Amanda Connor is such a great artist. And
hopefully
really...
they can make it like a powerful... female.
Oh yeah,
and that's not just about like the allure, which obviously she's about.
Amanda
the allure,
Connor is very good at doing in books and such. So that's one thing that will be interesting to see. As well as we have the epilogue book at the end of all this.
Yeah.
Which is going to have a big story that's also in each issue of the books. It's a 2-page backup by Len Wein and John Higgins called Curse of the Crimson Corsair.
Yeah, that's sort of the weakest part of the Watchmen trade anyway.
Yeah, so...
I don't know.
Each book, that miniseries that comes out in the epilogue will have a story
that puts together one
Yeah.
big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Like a backup.
there's that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Overall,
The creative teams mean that
creative teams are great.
Yeah. And wish them all luck. Because this will probably be really scrutinized.
Oh God, yeah. But I'm good. We're gonna review them.
We're gonna review them for sure.
Not that we're gonna like them, but we're gonna review them.
I only marginally like parts of the Watchmen, right? So
and I mean, the Watchmen is not perfect. No matter what anyone says, it's not perfect.
No.
There is a lot to they could have excised out of that book, but. And a bit they could have exercised out of the movie too, but it's not a perfect book. No book is perfect, but
but we're not going to compare it to that because this is going to be separate. This is different.
This is different, so we're not going to compare it. But we are going to look at it with a very critical eye when it comes out.
Absolutely. So ask your local comic book store who probably hasn't even got a chance to, these aren't even solicited yet. This is really advanced news.
It's summer sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
but certainly let them know that you're interested if you are.
Yep, so let's get into our comic review, shall we? I'll let you start.
Okay, I've been waiting for this one, Winter Soldier #1. So in this one, the Winter Soldier and Black Widow track down KGB sleeper agents and find more than they bargained for.
Lazy sleeper agents.
So will they be able to stop all the agents from being activated? Who is pulling the strings? And what's their endgame? Bucky and Natasha race to find out. Well, when they're not in bed, they are anyways. I liked...
Way to go, Bucky.
Yeah, I love everything about this book. Well, maybe not everything. I love the story. The only thing I can't really get past is the art. I don't really like the art in this one. In fact, I kind of hate it. I'm just used to a different look for this character, and I don't know. If it was a lot like the cover, I'd be like, cool, but it's not. The relationship between Bucky and Natasha is interesting, and I can't wait to see how Doctor Doom figures into this story. What? But a great first issue, and for fans of the Winter Soldier, you're not going to be disappointed.
Alright, next up, we have Infestation 2 Transformers #1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Infestation's back!
Yeah. Who asked for it back? But I actually quite like this, okay? Basically, the story revolves around terrifying beings from the depths of the ocean, corrupting both humans and Decepticons, and only one man, with the help of Nikola Tesla, can awaken the Autobots in time to prevent a full-scale disaster. Okay, so basically this is a continuation from where they left off quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
In the Transformers Hearts of Steel book.
Cool.
And quite frankly, I love that book. I love the steampunk aesthetic with Transformers. And it really works well here. Because, well, they're trains and everything that they would not
be. So good job on the artist for this, too.
Great art by Guido on this one. It's simply gorgeous to look at. And the fact that they have Nikola Tesla and... Edison in here.
Yeah, the interaction between them.
Oh God, they hate each other. It's great. I loved it. Because it's actually what they would do. It's cool. Like, the character goes to Edison to try and get 1,000,000 watts to flow. And Edison's like, are you mad? And Tesla's like, I can do that. So it's exactly what Tesla would probably do just to screw Edison. So I loved it. Fantastic art, fantastic story. I'm really looking forward to the next one. So keep it up, guys. This was great.
Next up, we've got Venom #13. Now, this is the first part of that Circle of 4, which is like going to be one issue every week for a month. And then it's going to wrap up at the beginning of next month. So in this one, Venom is AWOL, and Red Hulk has been sent to find Flash Thompson and return with the symbiote. X-23 is tracking down a stolen sample of her blood, fearing that someone's trying to create more weapons like her, or worse. And Ghost Rider, the new one, Alejandra, is apprenticing with Johnny Blaze and learning to control her powers and her temper. All four find themselves in where else but Las Vegas, where Blackheart has opened the doorway to hell. Hell, Las Vegas? Okay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. The unlikely team must work together, but first they must survive the peril of the Madness Mirror. Woo! Okay. I did like this. I thought Remender has pulled together the 4 different characters and their kind of very different parts of the Marvel Universe together in an interesting way. And Tony Moore's art is awesome. Like, it really jumps off the page. And I thought each character was done very well, but also had, like, their own look, their own design, which was neat. And this story continues, like I said, weekly this month with different creative teams on each book. Now that's the part that worries me a little bit because I like this one. And so the writer on this I dug, but then he doesn't return until the last one. So who knows how that's going to go, but this, I mean, you know, these characters put together seems wacky and weird anyway, and I enjoyed the first one. Hopefully they can keep it going.
Alright, next up we have our viewer send-in. This week, Entropy #1. And in this one, it's been 178 years since Domenico Poisson returned from the 15th level of hell, leaving his brother stranded. Domenico forms a team called Entropy to try and break into hell and save his brother.
That's a fascination with hell this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
So we're definitely going to hell. Alright. Alright, so this is a little off to me. It's not bad. It's not great. It's pretty good. Nice art, interesting story concept. But the thing about this is they're trying to connect all of their stories into one universe. Yeah. And it's a little bit muddled. Yeah. A little bit muddled.
It's hard to know where to jump in or...
Yeah, and that really hurts the storyline overall because you're not sure where you're going.
Yeah, or where you're supposed to have been. That
exactly.
You weren't there.
But it's not bad overall. The art is nice. It's got a pretty good story. It's just that if you haven't read the stuff that has to come before it, you're going to be a little confused, and it might hurt your feelings on this book without knowing. Yeah. So, not to say anything bad about it, because it is still a fun book. It's just a little bit muddled in continuity. That's all. Yeah. Basically, Crystal Freckle trying to be a cross-gen. Yeah. And thing. Yeah, and even cross-gen couldn't do that.
Like I said before, like maybe if they had like little references or summaries or somewhere in the back that was like a glossary of certain characters and how they connect or something like that across all the books, maybe that would help bring it all together.
Yeah. But not a bad book overall. I quite enjoyed it. Yeah. It's just a bit muddled at points, and it hurts the book to me. Yeah.
Okay, next up we've got Dawn of the Jedi, #0. Now, the important thing about this is this is like a guidebook. It's one of those like handbook style things. It's not like a comic book story. So like there are pictures, but there's a lot of text. But don't let that throw you off, because this provides background information to the characters, places, and things that are going to be explored in the new series Dawn of the Jedi, which reveals the true roots of both the Jedi and Sith orders, which is kind of cool. If you're a Star Wars fan, this is kind of like I would say it's a must-read. I really enjoyed this. Most of the action looks like it's going to take place on a place called Tathon, which is where sentient Force sensitives first gathered, and it's the home of the Jedi. It's not Jedi, Jedi. If I'm saying that right, I think.
Did George Lucas have something to do with this?
I have no idea, but it doesn't matter because, you know, I really liked it, and I think I'm gonna really enjoy where they're going with this and how we got to where we are. Like, this is like 30,000 years before the movies, so it's filled with beautiful art, in my opinion. They've done a really great job of showing you what characters and places you're going to see, and it's jam-packed with information. So for a Star Wars fan, I mean, even if you're not going to read this new series, which why wouldn't you, I thought it was very, interesting to sort of get an idea of where they're going with this. So pick this one up. It was a good read.
All right, next up, we have Alpha Girl, #1. And this one, Judith is a 17-year-old, chain-smoking, class-cutting typical girl.
Okay, check.
Do you know any typical girls who...
No.
Okay. Anyway, but she also might be the last sane woman on the planet. When a cosmetics company creates a pheromone that turns women into crazed man-eaters.
Wow.
And it's up to Judith to kick some serious zombie ass.
I don't know. Is it a social commentary?
I don't know. It's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
I can't really feel for the characters because, well, they're kind of douchey characters, but you can get over that in a little bit after reading a bit of this book. Art-wise, it's really nice looking. Color-wise, it's beautiful to look at. Some really luscious colors in this. Story-wise, it's a little muddled, like I've mentioned before, but it's fun. It's a fun zombie-style book.
Yeah.
It just happens to star a character you can't really feel for quite yet, who needs to grow up a little and become an actual, character rather than a stereotype.
Yes. So we'll start out at stereotype at number 1, and
hopefully she'll grow and change a bit over the series. But it's not bad for a first issue. I actually had a few chuckles at it, and it was fun. So there is that. So check it out if you get a chance. It's pretty fun.
All right. Next up, you may or may not know, Magic the Gathering has a comic book series that just started.
It's had comic series before.
Yes. Well, this is the new one. This is number 1. This is from IDW. This is the variant cover, so if it looks different from some of the other images you're seeing, this is the 1 in 10 variant. I read this one because the other ones all come sealed with a card. Like a promo card, and I didn't want to, mess with that. So I read this one for you. So in this one, we're introduced to Dak Faden. He's a planeswalker, which is a being that can cross the ether to explore the vastness of the multiverse. If you play Magic,
but I don't want to.
Yeah. If you're a Magic player, you probably know what most of this is. But anyways, Dak is a wanted man on multiple planes, even where he calls home, which happens to be Ravnica. Dak has stolen something from the cult of Rakdos, and to his surprise, it might hold the secrets to his past. Who is Sifa, the woman from Innistrad? Dak might finally have everything he needs to track her down and make her pay for what she's done. All right. So the story started out really kind of poorly. Like, I was just like, okay, new planeswalker dude, and he seemed pretty dumb. Like, they just have he's running away from people, and there's this stupid voiceover that doesn't really have anything. And then it got kind of good in the last 3 or 4 pages. That's where it started to show some promise. And I was like, why didn't we start here and only have 1 page of him running away? Anyways, so also the art was just okay, but it was even hard to tell that because they really screwed up the coloring to me.
That's never good.
Yeah. Okay. It looks like the entire book has this overall red tone, like you're looking at it through red colored glasses. And I was like, why is that?
Ugly.
Why is that? Is it an artistic choice? Is there a third party looking over this and we just don't know that? And that's why I don't know. If it's an artistic choice, I didn't get it. And if it wasn't, then it wrecked the look of the book. Either way, it wrecked the look of the book to me. And so that part made it kind of horrible. But I mean, I like the whole backstory of the Magic the Gathering card game, and I think it's cool that they're attempting this. And if you want to read about this new planeswalker who maybe will show up in the card game, I could only think that he will, then, give this one a shot. It wasn't a terrible read. I'm just hoping that number 2 is going to be, that much better than this one.
Alright, and to close out the show today, we have another IDW book, Transformers: Robots in Disguise, which I was supposed to review last week, but we did not get enough copies, so I'm stuck doing 2 Transformers books this week. Oh, woe is me.
Yeah, Jim's upset about it.
Anyway, basically what happens in this one, civil unrest on Cybertron leads to a shaky alliance between the Autobots and Decepticons, and the waves of refugees returning to the planet. And Bumblebee must do the unthinkable when the Decepticon gets out of line.
Really?
Okay, where they left off in the first series with Rodimus being blown up, apparently. Basically, everyone on Cybertron thinks they're dead.
Okay.
So they're going to try and have a big remembrance for them.
Right.
Which, of course, the other people on Cybertron do not want because there's civil unrest.
Right.
So a lot goes on in this. Cybertron is apparently fighting back to keep robots off of it.
Really?
It wants to apparently repair itself or something.
Huh, interesting.
So the planet's sentient again. So yeah, overall, it's an interesting read.
And did this tie into the More Than Meets the Eye series?
It does,
at all?
yeah.
Okay,
it does,
so
yeah.
you should be reading both, or
You probably should be reading both,
Okay.
which is going to cost you double. But the stories do intersect at points, so yeah, you're going to need to probably read both to understand the full story.
Right.
The art by Griffith in this one is gorgeous. I love his style. It's very Guido Guidi-esque, but really works in this. And character-wise, there's some really interesting characters. They have these non-Alliance robots called Nails.
Ooh, interesting.
Who aren't Autobot or Decepticon. They're basically refugees coming back to the planet. So there's that going on too. So
that's something cool and new. Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked it. It's not the best Transformers book I've ever read because, well, that still is Last Stand on the Wreckers. But this was actually a good read and quite a lot of fun. So if you're a fan of Transformers, this is probably for you. Check it out. I probably won't be reading anymore because, well, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a fun first issue, so check it out. We'll see you next week.